We survived the American Civil War. We survived the Great Depression, 2 world wars, and the morning of 9/11. For 158 years, Lehman Brothers was a financial fortress, an unstoppable machine. But it didn't fall to an enemy arm or a terrorist attack. It only took me 1 weekend to detonate the entire empire from the comfort of my leather chair. I am Richard Fuld, and this is the true story of how my absolute arrogance paralyzed the global economy. In the year 2007, they didn't just call me the CEO. Wall Street called me the gorilla. I was a god in a tailored suit. We controlled nearly $700 billion. Let that number sink into your brain. We were playing a brilliant, beautiful game. We discovered a way to print money out of thin air. We took mortgages from the poorest people in America. People who couldn't even afford their groceries. Packaged their massive debts into shiny, complex financial boxes and sold them as premium investments to the rest of the world. It was absolute poison, but it was highly profitable poison. In just 1 year, I paid myself a $22 million bonus. Life was untouchable until the poison started leaking out of the boxes. In mid-2007, a quiet panic began in the shadows of the bank. The housing market was starting to crack. Poor people stopped paying their loans. The fake money was vanishing. My risk management team came into my office. Their faces were pale. They showed me the terrifying numbers. They begged me to stop buying this garbage. They told me we were driving a train off a cliff. Any rational human would have hit the emergency brakes. Any responsible leader would have realized the party was over. But a gorilla never walks backwards. I looked them in the eye and fired them. I locked myself in the echo chamber of my own ego. I told my people, we don't retreat. We double down. When the market recovers, we will be the kings of the ashes. I shoved Lehman Brothers deeper into the dark. I bet the entire history of the company on a losing hand. And then the clock ran out. September 12, 2008, the bloodiest weekend in modern financial history began. The panic wasn't quiet anymore. It was a scream. Other banks stopped trading with us. Our stock price was free, falling to zero. We needed cash immediately, or we were dead. I sat alone in my massive, silent corner office on the 31st floor. Staring at the phone, I waited for the United States government to call. I waited for the rescue plane. I genuinely believed we were too big to fail. I thought I was holding a gun to the head of the global economy, and the government would have to pay my ransom. Friday passed. Saturday passed. Sunday arrived. No one called. They weren't coming for me. Wall Street decided I was the perfect sacrifice to calm the storm. They locked the doors and left me inside the burning building. My heart was hammering against my ribs. I couldn't breathe. Everything I built, everything I was turning to dust in a matter of seconds. At 1:45 a.m., on September 15th, my hand shook as I signed the darkest piece of paper in corporate history. Chapter 11, Bankruptcy. With a stroke of a pen, over $600 billion evaporated into thin air. 25,000 people lost their jobs overnight. But I didn't just crash my bank. I lit a match that set the whole world on fire.
The collapse of Lehman Brothers wasn't just a corporate death. It was the spark that detonated the 2008 global financial crisis. When Monday morning arrived, ordinary citizens woke up to a nightmare. The stock markets around the world went into free fall. Within months, ordinary people lost over $10 trillion of their personal wealth. Nearly 10 million families lost their homes. Retirement accounts, built over a lifetime of hard work, were wiped out. People were living in tents and cars. But what about the gorilla? What happened to the man who stared down disaster and refused to blink? Did he end up behind bars for destroying millions of lives? The absolute, terrifying truth is no. While his company bled to death, public records revealed that between 2000 and 2007, Richard Fuld personally pocketed nearly $500 million in compensation. When the dust settled, he legally kept almost all of it. A month after the collapse, Fuld was forced to sit in front of the United States Congress. Lawmakers attacked him. Protesters screamed in his face. They asked him if he had any regrets, if he wanted to apologize to the millions of people living in financial agony. Fuld sat entirely motionless. With cold, dead eyes, he looked at the politicians, defended his extreme decisions, and refused to offer a single apology. The game was rigged. He didn't break the law. The laws were written to protect men exactly like him. Today, the 2008 crisis is a horrific chapter in history books, but Richard Fuld is still a free man. He lives in massive, multi-million-dollar mansions. He quietly opened a new private advisory firm. His wealth survived. His power evolved. The entire system broke down. Millions lost everything, but the architect of the apocalypse simply walked away. Every empire falls. Every disaster begins with a decision. If you want to step inside the minds of the people who crashed the world, make sure to subscribe. Next week, another leader will make a choice that changes history. Until then, watch where you put your trust.